Okie dokie. Let's crack this. Let's pour this. And did I actually put any thought into the decision that I said I would be mulling over as I got said beverage? Of course I did. When have I ever been dishonest in my ability to attempt to make decisions? I definitely gave it a lot of thought, and I decided before stepping in here, not right at this very moment, that we're gonna try out the ring mail. Don't know how I feel about that. Oh, I have the wrong window focused as well. There we go. Let's head back to Snake Pit regardless, I guess. And maybe the actual answer for us at the moment here is to swap stairwells. We could do a little bit of training to make fridge an option in this armor, because I do like having slightly more balanced resistances across the board. Nothing but cold resistance, while thematic for the character. Maybe not the best avenue, especially now that I think about it. Something I always seem to overlook when prepping to go into Swamp, which is the next S branch that we're likely to head to, is fire resistance. I kind of always forget that they have those darned, they create foxfires, but they're not called foxfires. I'm sure you might know what I mean. And if you don't, then hopefully you never find out. Hopefully we just don't run into them at all this run, because I do find them to be a pain in the rear, even with a little bit of fire resistance. But all that being a long-winded way of saying, I guess let's just go for it, shall we? And that is actually a decent spot for our freezing cloud, because we can always IMB enemies to kind of keep them in the mix there. And in fact, if we just ice behind, ice you, ice for everyone. Okay, I'm failing spells a little more often. That one I might not have failed, but I did already once fail as 1%, so I'm now very much extra cautious and aware of the possibility moving forward. But Azul shouldn't be a problem, I say, as we go down to half health in 2 turns. But I'm gonna stick with my my guns there. I don't think Azul is actually going to be that much a problem, as long as we don't foolishly engage. Well, hello there. You must be resistant to poison, right? Just resistant, not immune. For whatever slight difference that may make. Not so much for us here in this context, but definitely on a technical level, it is a distinction that can be made. Should be made is another question, but one that we will not bother ourselves with here today. Oh, Azul, you're so fast, man. Let's reset this again. And in fact, now at this point, we can kind of do the old ring around the rosy. Never mind. I'm just gonna have to irradiate and try to murder both of you real quick like. That should do the trick. And then I leave. Ooh, wait. These snakes are not fooling around. Where the heck did all of you come from? Guess we caused a little bit more of a commotion than I originally expected. Caught the attention of some figures I was not prepared to engage. Let's take you upstairs, my friend. Or not. Fine. I'm telling you, you're not going to be happier that we did it here. Are you glad you got to die on the floor you lived on your whole life? Congrats. You son of a gun. Oh, and as always, anything archer related is a problem. I'm just going to irradiate you. Problem solved. And while we keep just bouncing back and forth here, let's actually take a look at you one more time. Max HP of 140. If you put us to sleep, we're probably in trouble. I could file a floods you at least. stop you from casting any of that pesky magic. And then Irradiate is okay, but not great. I could deal slightly more damage. I mean, I could probably fridge you. 11% failure rate. It's not great. Let's not get it twisted, but it's not bad either. In fact, if I just head back to this stairwell and we re-engage you in such a fashion that we find amiable to our own intents and purposes here. Our own intensive porpoises, as it were. And maybe, just maybe, we'll be in a slightly better spot. I guess we don't need that last ID. Have we ID'd everything on the consumable front? I believe we mayhaps have managed to do so. Yeah, just Scroll of Silence and experience left to, at some point come across in our ventures. Hey, Zool. There you are, you sick son of a gun. We'll hit ourselves with some cold here, but I think I don't hate that. Let's try fridging you. It's good damage for sure, but I think still need to file Floods and then finish you off with some Irradiate. Fantastic. Do always forget that Azul constantly has these talismans now as well. I do love that as a bit of flavor. I never actually realized. Maybe it says in their description, but I didn't realize that Azul was never a real snake. I feel betrayed on a fundamental level like never before. I think we have a genie friend about to make an appearance if I had to hazard a guess. Speak of the devil. Azrael. Enjoy the fridge, my friend. I mean, you won't, but such is life. Sucks to suck, compadre. And we shall hopefully just be able to finish off the rest of this floor. We finally recovered from the, let's say, rough initial exposure to the area. Wasn't great, but we've managed to kind of get to a slightly more maintainable position, and the rest of these fights are going quite well. There's the Salamander Tyrant that was causing us some issues before, and not so much now. Love to see it. You have javelins. What is this, shoals? Did I take a wrong turn? Am I in the wrong neighborhood here? Thought this was Snake. Friggin' javelins everywhere. But regardless, shouldn't be too much of a problem for us to deal with. And hellhounds are the least of our concerns for sure. Lovely. Another snake floor down. Holy moly. Now you kiddos, that's more like it. Somebody that is affected by our poison, don't mind if I do just send you off into the next plane beyond this mortal coil. I'm encased in ice, but I resist it. Interesting. But we'll keep blasting things as they come down on us here as we try to rest up, recuperate from our trials here through the early sections of Snake. A shock serpent does mean emergency maneuvers, folks. Switch over to our Bardiche with the electricity resistance. Fantastic. And you, my friend, unfortunately, not so much of an emergency. We'll just drop a couple of those. Make sure we swap back into our poison resistance from the stave here. Do you have a distortion trident, my friend? You do. Wow, that's very cool, nice, and fun of you. You will unfortunately die before you get too much of an opportunity to use it. But such is life, I guess. Wouldn't have it any other way. It's the spice of life, really, and that is perfect. Okay, definitely able to slow it down quite a bit more so far on this floor 3 of the area, so love that. I do need to murder this son of a gun as quickly as possible, just making sure that they don't have any opportunity to surround us with 8 of their closest friends. And that should basically do it. You know what? I'm not actually fully prepped to deal with you. I guess I could still do a little bit of here or there, make some more noise than I would like with Fulminant Prism, but that's fine. Because elsewise, we are good to go. Dealing with a single Naga Warrior. Not too bad here. Ooh-wee. Oh, Jesus. These old headphones. These old headphones are definitely on their last legs. I've been having issues. I mean, again, if you've been a friend of the channel for a long time, I'm sure you've noticed this like incrementally increasing issue on the bar of my headphones. But I think they're definitely kind of on their last legs now. I do have a replacement pair that I use for work and whatnot. That's the same make and model, but much upgraded version, because I believe I've had these, I want to say, for 10 plus years. It's probably not much more. I think it's like 11 years now that I've been using these same headphones. So they've treated me well, and they've definitely been a good source of making noise. Lack of a better term here. Okay, switching to my electricity resistance just in time for that son of a gun to die here. Perfect. Oh my gosh, and I can't get closer to this buddy old boy without rampaging into my own clouds. That's definitely not exactly working as intended, but there we go. God, I hate those sharpshooters. That's actually giving me flashbacks. I feel like, that must have been our Oni run, right? That I had to deal with my complete inability to successfully combat the dang sharpshooters here in Snake. Not something I was ever really looking forward to recreating, but I guess it is what it is. And not the end of the world. After all, should be fine and dandy to make do with dealing with those sons of guns. Son of a gun. Maybe spoke too soon. Get out of here. All my previous confidence is already shaken, gone, destroyed, shattered. Insert any other adjectives as you see fit to accurately summarize my position and opinion on said sons of guns. But Ozakubas is down to 7%. I no longer have to confirm casting it, which was honestly a huge reason why we slowed down. The other of which, of course, being that's a problem. But hey, you left us just enough magic to successfully deal with these fools here, so joke's on you. Oh, dang it, the salamander has a bow. Who gave Stinky Fire Lizard a bow? Riddle me this. I would like to not use blinking, so I think I'll actually use one of our 2 fear scrolls, and that does successfully take care of all of those ranged jokers that were coming our direction, assaulting our general vicinity, and all that terrible stuff. Hopefully, not too many more sharpshooters. If we run into Vajnia, that is going to be a trialing experience. A very interesting endeavor, to say the least. You know what? I think I just have to refrigerate all of you kiddos, treat you like female side characters in most fictional properties from the 90s and 2000s, and Phrygia. That's a literary joke for all of you writers out there. Unless that's more common. I guess there are lots of, what's the site? Like, it's like TV tropes? It's something tropes that kind of categorizes and lists all of the kind of classic tropes that have been employed in writing throughout the years there. And I believe fridging would have to be available on that. Again, I feel like that's a site that I've heard about but never actually checked out myself. I could just be making it up too. There's always that possibility in the back of my mind that this was actually just a dream I had once and does not hold any actual relevance to real life. But that's just a theory. A memory theory. Okie dokie. Well, Snake 3, all things considered, going a heck of a lot smoother. What we were seeing before. Danged old Salamanduses will get the fridge treatment almost immediately there. It's perfect. And otherwise, keep on schmoving. I'm actually kind of curious. Son of a gun. Do I kill you? Oh, do not talk and operate your adventurer in the same time here. How the heck did you deal so much damage, my friend? I guess you hit pretty dang hard and I was not paying attention, so that would probably do it. Just giving you some turns next to us was silly, shall we say, to put it lightly. I was too distracted by the idea of wondering if me being adjacent to an enemy counted as insulation for refrigeration. It seemed to be the case, because I hit this son of a gun with 2 or 3 of those bad boys. And for what? Not a lot. An irradiate should almost definitely kill you. So we're gonna do it. Take some poison damage. Use our last potion of curing? Excuse me? No, sir. I believe you've met the wrong person. I believe you were looking for somebody else. Excuse me, pardon me. I was actually just leaving. Don't mind me. Ooh-wee. Let's find curing, please. Perfect. We do at least have some available at various shops. Oh, there were a bunch of haste potions here as well. Why didn't you tell me? Actually, now that I think about it, they were probably un-ID'd when we first made our way through here, but I'll grab those now. Why the heck not? And down to Orc as well for a couple more curing, still bringing us to a grand total of 3. Which is not great. But it is what it is. And let us head back to the snake pit once again here, please. And thank you, DCSS, if you could be so kind. Jeez Louise, folks. Robe of Resistance. That will do her. I'm happy to lose a couple of our AC points to bring up our resistances to a good spot here as well. I think I'm happy with that. Again, uniform is kind of on point here. A bit too much black. I think that, you know, if we're in the shadows, we're probably missing a lot of details. You're not seeing much more than the crackly red under highlights of it all, but still very cool for an edgy deep elf like ourselves. And jeez, okay, that's Snake 3 taken care of, with only a minor mic bonk at the end here and a couple of near-death experiences to keep us entertained. As Elf the Gelid? The Gelid? The rhymes with Felid? That's ice magic, right? That is ice magic. Interesting. Well, ice is now back to being in a good spot. In fact, too good of a spot now that we've swapped back down to cloth armaments. Ignition is at 21%. Holy, that is actually going to be castable sooner than I originally expected. Love to see it. And in fact, you know what I'm tempted to do here? Hello? Here, maybe you need... I'm here? I'm hearing angry hisses and shouts and all that good stuff. There you are, you son of a gun. I'm hoping for more, though. This is maybe not the most intelligent way to deal with the level, but I do like introing ourselves in striking fashion here by making some noise, making our presence known, making sure we announce ourselves to the former inhabitants before we indiscriminately murder them one by one. Or, if we can help it, probably like 5 by 5 would be nice as well. You don't mind? Especially more salamanders, please. Now that we have fire resistance sorted out, that is pretty much all I want to see. Are more salamanders, please and thank you. I'm just going to be using and abusing Fridge much more than I have any right to. Just while we're kind of hanging out by the stairwell and playing it safe. Ooh. Scarf of Resistance. We'd lose even more armor class. But I don't know if I'd hate that. A Scarf of Shadows, so... I guess it's all academic at this point regardless. A Wand of Ice Blast on that son of a gun. Not too much of an issue. I'm much more worried about that thing you got on you, the bow, as it were. But fortunately, we're able to deal with that sucker without too much issue, without too much recourse needing to be taken. And there's our rune vault, as we come to know and love it. So I guess let's finish exploring the rest of the open part of the floor plan here. Curari darts. No kidding, eh? Let you kids have Curari darts these days? Ooh-wee. Back in my day, we were lucky if we even had regular poison darts, I'll tell you what. But okay, bunch of snakes. Besides the fact that they'll constrict me, and this one will deal lightning damage, which is a problem. I guess what we could do... I'm not seeing any fire sons of guns here, so... switch over to our electricity resistance. Even with resistance. Jeez Louise, man. Well, we have one more Scroll of Fear, and it has a 90% chance to fear the correct parties in question, so I guess we'll use that first and foremost. Rethink our lives and everything that has brought us to this point. I no longer have fire resistance because I'm wearing this ring, but I'm tempted to keep it on for the time being, just because I have concerns about running into those same... gosh darn stunning sons of guns once again here. Okay, there we go. There's one at least. You, my friend, have to die real fast, and fortunately you do acquiesce to our request, so I appreciate you. Up to level 17, fantastic. We'll just run back to our stairwell. We can play this nice and safe. The layout of this floor is actually very advantageous to us. I like that most of our stairwells, I was gonna say all, but most of our stairwells are kind of tucked away into this lovely little cubbyhole. So anytime we need to run for our very lives, not in too much trouble doing so, the important thing to just keep on the forefront of our mind for the next few moments here, the next few minutes at least, is if we see fire damage, make a change in our life. That is the call to action that we must be on the lookout for. At least until... get a bit closer. You might have actually had fire magic on you, not remembering. There we go. That's most of the shock serpents. I did say most, I guess, so I don't have to amend that statement. Yes, it was most of the shock serpents. Not all of them, unfortunately. Some of those sons of guns slipped through. But that's still not terrible. The fact that there's lava in here leads me to believe that I will want some fire resistance in the next couple of moments here if I had to hazard a guess. Yeah, I'd say that was accurate. I should double check. Where is ignition sitting? 10%? Oh geez, my nose suddenly clogged up and I'm probably... From my perspective, I sounded super nasally for a moment there, probably from the outside as well, as my eyes tear up because I'm crying for joy, you know? It's just such a happy moment to be here with all of my snake friends. Oh, I was doing so well for not being too affected by my ailment here, my symptoms. Exactly, yeah, the Salamander Tyrants are who we're on the constant lookout for here. That's who's going to ruin our day. Not rue the day, but ruin the day. And a bunch of mighted snakes. Nar, thank you. However, as soon as you kind of separate yourselves, even the slightest amount, I will definitely try to capitalize on that decision to the utmost. Get my mouse cursor out of there too. The sake of people who care about that much like I do, because it definitely bugs me whenever I actively notice that I've forgotten my mouse cursor in the middle of the screen. Shaking my head. There's the tyrant themselves, but fortunately, we did make the right decision. Your day has been rude, cannot see you, but you can spam AoE damage. Exactly, that's the true meaning of ruination. All that good stuff. That son of a gun had a shield of reflection of some flavor or variety, correct? Is that right? Because that is something, I mean, if it's a tower shield, I don't believe it's really going to be much of an option for us. But if it's a kite shield, on the other hand, that is wonderful. Was a tower shield? Son of a gun. How dare you, game. Tower shield is technically not impossible. It's just in a 3-rune game. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be on the menu for us here. Unlike meat, tower shields are not back on the menu, boys. But I guess we'll see. If only we were still on that gosh darn Formicid Hunter, eh, folks? Dream come true that. In another context, in another lifetime. It would be everything and anything I've ever asked for, but unfortunately not so much for good old Elf the Elf here. So we've come to know and love him. Let's not make the same mistakes I did before. In fact, this son of a gun doesn't... Okay. I was gonna say won't be able to haste themselves the broadside of a barn or something along those lines, and then immediately had that thrown in my face, but that's fine. Do I ever abandon God strategically? No, the only time I've ever abandoned a god in my memory here was our Luganu attempt a couple months ago now, and that was just because Luganu you have no real guarantee of finding, so I think we took Quaslaw, who we had just won with prior to that, and abandoned them, but that was actually probably my first time intentionally abandoning a god. What can I say? I'm a bit of a... When it comes to deities, I'm a bit of a monogamy nut in that regard, or something along those lines. I don't know what kind of verbiage I was aiming for there. No, it's gone to the point where even, what's their face? Ignis, I never want to abandon Ignis, though that one also is caveated by the fact that my headcanon is that if you grab the orb and escape with it, you have the necessary power to rekindle the flame and bring Ignis back to their former glory. So I think that's kind of what I tell myself there, and that makes it very hard to abandon them, even though that is kind of the general strategy for an Ignis character. Not so much in this run when we do eventually go back to Ignis, just because we need to win with the character, or with the god at the end of the day. But anywho, oh man. We are very, very close to where I'm going to be ending the evening here. have a couple of things left to do to finish out the weekend. One of which, by the way, is that I really want to check out the Three Body Problem, the new Netflix show. I'm hoping they did a good job. I'm almost embarrassed to admit, as somebody who loves science, loves philosophy, and especially loves when the two coalesce into one, I've never actually read the Three Body Problem. I should. It's like, I think it's a few very kind of trusted sources when it comes to books. It's their favorite book, and I still haven't read it. So that's why there's a tinge of embarrassment when I talk about it. But I'm hoping the show is everything that I would and definitely they would hope from it. I've talked to a couple of those folks, and they were excited but trepidatious about it, just because it is so important to them. The book trilogy itself, I believe it's just a trilogy, but I think I'm going to try out the first episode of that. I don't know, they might be hour longs, which I don't know if I'll be able to fit in tonight, but we'll see how it all goes down.